Well, a live look over the Vatican City funeral service for Pope Francis, where it concluded just hours ago. Francis died Monday morning at the age of 88, just hours after his final public appearance on Easter Sunday. More than 250,000 people paid their last respects to Pope Francis over the week. His funeral this morning was attended by dozens of world leaders, including President Trump and former President Joe Biden, America's second Catholic president. Joining me here this morning is Father Tom Willis of St. Mark the Evangelist. Francis led the church for 12 years. Father Willis, thank you so much for joining us here
Thank you for
today.
having me.
You're welcome. You've been up throughout the morning, both
Yes.
sides, I should say. Tell me how you are feeling this morning.
I thought it was a wonderful celebration of the church's funeral rites. The church is at her best in these times and certainly was today. I thought Cardinal Ray's homily just captured the fullness of not only Francis's pontificate, but so much so as well of his entire life of reaching out to the poor, to the marginalized, as Cardinal Ray said a couple of times, to those on the peripheries.
Yeah. When you look at this funeral, of course, no one wants to see this, but this is how he planned for his last days. And many people, followers, being able to get a piece of that, millions of people getting a part of that.
So several years ago, Pope Francis worked with the Master of Papal Liturgical Ceremonies, Archbishop Ravelli, to do some small changes to the papal funeral rites to lessen the importance of the Pope as sovereign and to be able to focus more on his role as Bishop of Rome and shepherd of people. And yet, when I watched the funeral this morning, one thing to me remained clear. This is the basic funeral rite of the Catholic Church that the Church offers for everyone, from laymen and laywomen up to the Pope. So the basic liturgical ritual was the same. Different prayers here and there, yes, that emphasized Pope Francis's role, but really the simple funeral rite of the Church.
What do you think his legacy will be? Because that's the most important thing. Will the next Pope follow in his footsteps?
Well, if Cardinal Ray's homily is any indication, and keep in mind Cardinal Ray is 91 years old, is not eligible to go into the conclave to vote. I thought his homily at times was a ringing endorsement of what Pope Francis's pontificate was. And so if you're looking for any Vatican intrigue, do you begin to say, here is one cardinal's voice to say to the rest of his brother cardinals, let's push forward with what Pope Francis got started for us.
How do you continue that on, as a pope, to be a pope of your own, moving forward, but still continuing the legacy of a pope that was loved globally?
My suspicion is a couple of things. One, whoever is elected has to ultimately be a man of deep faith, of realizing that he is an instrument of God to the people of the church as well as the people of the world. Secondly, he has to be a person who is very comfortable within himself, knowing his limitations. Keep in mind that Pope Francis's first interview that he gave to the world after he was elected, he was asked, who is Pope Francis? And he said, I'm a sinner. Yeah. And so you've got to know yourself, and in order to have that kind of confidence to lead with deep faith, I think the next Pope can help us then move forward in the footsteps of Francis.
Many people waking up this morning to watch this funeral. Where do we go from here, Father?
Well, the next steps will be, there are 9 days of official mourning in the Diocese of Rome that begin today and will continue through next Sunday. Then, if my calculations are correct, Tuesday, May the 6th would be the earliest date that the conclave would started, but it could be several days after that. This week we will get a definite indication as to when the conclave will begin.
All right, Father, of course, we'll be having more with you. And folks at home, thank you so much for joining us here today. The Father has been joining us throughout the week. Many questions that are left on the table.
Glad to be with you.
All right, and if you need more from the Pope's funeral, of course, that will be on First Coast News Plus. We'll be right back with more.